welcome. My name's Petra. I'm in Stonington, Connecticut with my lovely daughter,
Natasha.
Together we are Knit Inc. and we are bringing you episode 46.
On Sunday, August 18th.
And
We're doing it again we made it to recording in August.
Is this our first episode? Yeah, in August.
Mateo just squawked. He just went down for a nap. We'll see.
It's been about 3 or 4 weeks since we last recorded, hasn't it?
Yeah, but I think only closer to 3 weeks since it posted on YouTube. It always seems to take me a week, but hopefully I get this up in August. Anyway, okay. Welcome back to new viewers. Welcome back to returning viewers, and hello and welcome to new viewers.
And thank you for those of you that have subscribed, because last time I checked, we were getting really, really close to our 7,000 followers milestone. I'm going to check now.
See if anyone's done it in the last day.
So thank you all for watching. Thank you again for your beautiful comments. It really means a lot to us. We really love this community. We're 69 subscribers away from 7,000 milestone, if I did mathematics on the fly. Okay. So we're inching our way there, and then we will have some sort of a giveaway, and I have got some ideas.
This is the longest tease ever.
It's been maybe since we started talking about it, in part because we were sort of
dormant for 6 months.
We were hibernating, although I wish we had been hibernating. Anyway, we are in Stonington, Connecticut, the same house. This is our third podcast, I think, from this house, and maybe our last, because we are moving out of this house in 2 weeks' time to another house, and I look forward to podcasting from that one, because that one's got nice water views. We stayed in it for the month of May, and it's a very beautiful healing house. It's got this is a nice house too, but that one's got some special energy, so I really look forward to podcasting from there.
That'll be nice.
In September, hopefully. Alrighty, so let's get into it. Natasha, what are you wearing?
Okay, so this is my Shoral top. I forgot all the signs, so I'll have to put it down below. This is my Shoral top, which is by, and I might be saying that incorrectly, Victoria Chaplina. So this is what I'm wearing and an FO for this episode. So I knit this in Juniper Moon Farm Pollock. It's a mix of linen and silk. And last time I had talked about how I had to order another ball, skein, whatever. So I was able to, I ordered it from this place called the Yarn Maven in, I think it was Maryland or Delaware. And all I ordered was one skein. It was on sale for $13, and they sent me a sticker.
Wow.
And these stitch markers.
Oh my gosh, that is so nice.
And a handwritten note. And I just thought that was so nice, because
to take the time for a small purchase like that.
Yeah, and it's handwritten. That's not like a stamp or anything. So anyway, I thought that was incredibly kind. So I got that skein. So it was the same colorway. This is what I have left over. But I did some helical knitting, and you can see that it was actually much darker.
Yeah.
But I've liked the way it faded. And I did a little bit longer back, and I have a little bit of a split hem, which is in the pattern. So I knit the third size. After blocking, I am happier with how the I-cord edging went. I was a little worried about that in the last episode too.
Oh yeah, but actually it looks
actually
very
walked
nice.
out okay.
It looks very nice, Natasha.
It's very drapey and very lightweight.
And it's just a nice amount of positive ease, isn't it? It glides over you. It's not too snug. And I think, where you joined the second ball closer to the lower part is actually a really nice and it's
almost joined all the way
like
up here, but it really faded in nicely.
It looks lovely.
So
it makes
the pattern
it look more interesting.
I don't think the pattern has you do a longer back, but it does have you do a split hem and then the I-cord bind off.
Very nice.
So yeah, so I have this much left over, and then I wanted to share. I was gathering linen for a second top to make for Anna, and guess what I found? 120 grams of Juniper Moon Pollock. It's not the same colorway as this. It's a gray. This has more of like a blue undertone. This is like a greenish undertone. This has like a gray navy undertone, but I totally could have used this and not ordered this. But then I wouldn't have a sweet note from the Yarn Maven. Anyway, so now I feel like this can probably be something.
I was just going to ask you, is that enough? Is that enough
Probably.
for another tank top?
Because this is 120 grams, and this was 100 grams. So if this is 120, and this was, and this, I would
you just have to weigh what you're wearing and weigh this.
Yeah,
right?
no,
Instead.
I would think it would be enough. But this was something that you or I unpicked. And then you've done something out of this yarn too.
I have a long sleeved knitted top out of that,
Right.
I think, which I don't have with me, but it's at the dry cleaners that took our clothing. For those of you that haven't seen our previous episodes, we had a house fire in April. Everyone's fine, but it's been a long, drawn out rigmarole, which is why we're house hopping. But you know, there's pluses to everything, and we've enjoyed living in these different areas, getting to know new people.
But anyway, a lot of my mom's clothing and my dad's clothing is at a dry cleaner's warehouse. So anyway,
at the end, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But let's stick to our knitting.
So that's what I'm wearing, and
I
have 2 other FOs. But
wow.
I will share those after you share what you're wearing.
Okay, so I am wearing a sweater called, I just looked it up and I've forgotten already, but it's by Petra Ravelry, and it's called Laneway. And I made this in 2015, so this is almost vintage. I don't know when you start calling things vintage. But this main color, this white, is also Juniper Moon. It's Juniper Moon Farm Zoe in the color Coconut. And then I did these stripes with Noro Tayo sock yarn. And I did do some color management. I cut out some colors in this. And I do have a pretty good Ravelry page, so you can see that it's knitted asymmetrically. You're increasing and decreasing, and it is a really nice pattern. This is the only one that I've made, and it does have an uneven hem. I'm just gonna see if I can show you a little bit without falling off the chair. Maybe this is as far as I'll go. So yeah, it's a fun knit. It's 9 years old. It fits me a little snugger now, but I really do like it, and I would consider making a tunic version of this. Actually, you can use up bits of wool to do these stripes too. I think the pattern is just using one color, and it's just 2 row stripes. It's a DK weight pattern, so yeah. Petra Ravelry, and there are 600 and excuse me, I've got some fluff on my nose. 643 patterns, but it's actually, now that I'm looking at the pattern, it's more like a dress. The bottom part is non-stripy, so you could make it as a dress into a dress, or tunic, or a sweater. Yeah, so that's what I'm wearing, and I have no finished objects.
Oh no.
Yeah. I'm just I'm just process knitting, not project knitting right now. But I do have some knitting and a crochet up. I have a crochet update. Okay, Natasha, do you want to tell us about your next
yeah, I just wanted to pull something up real quick here.
Your next finished object?
Yes. Okay, so I had gathered, I'm just going to grab it, some other linen when I wanted to make another linen top. I wanted to make one for my sister. So I had this blue, which is Claudia painted. Claudia.
Oh yeah, she's from is she from Charlottesville? I feel like that area, yeah.
So this is the same pattern as I'm wearing, the shoral top.
Sure.
But I made the second size this time. Claudia Hand Painted Yarns Drama. So I made the second size. It's damp. I just soaked it and laid it out last night. So again, I wanted to use up some linen. So I had one skein of this blue and then solid blue, and then one that was like a blue-green mix. And I forgot my remnants of what was left because I still have some of this left. And I had found this when I was looking before I ordered this ball of like what I could possibly blend, but you can see how this was going to be too dramatic.
Yeah, too contrasting.
So this one, again, I did some helical knitting, and you can see where I joined and then ended up switching completely over, and I think it transitioned well. There's obviously some pooling.
I like the pooling though. I really like pooling.
This one, so I had mentioned that in the previous episode how I wasn't pleased with the like picking up of and doing the I-cord edging around the arms and neck hole. So I did 3 stitches of the outside armhole. I did I-cord as I went along. So I slipped the last 3 stitches of every row. And at this point you're knitting flat. So it's before you join from the round. So, I would purl on the side I needed to purl.
On the reverse side.
Yeah. So that's what I did on the outside of the armholes, and it's okay. I'm a little worried that the armhole is a little too big for my sister, so I might do like a little pleat in the bottom here. 'Cause, like, this is fine for me. It doesn't show my bra, but this one is somehow the armhole ended up being a little bigger, and I think it's because obviously when you pick up, it kind of
shrinks
it. So that was an issue there. I did not do the I-cord as I went along for the neck because you cast on stitches to then join, and because of that, it just made more sense to pick up and do that after.
Yeah.
So again, what I had done is right about here, when I did it maybe 2 inches after the armhole, I blocked it and then because I was yarn management, I used the solid blue before I ran out to do the neck hole, the neck edge. So at this one I did a little bit. I did 2 extra rows on the back as well with the split hem.
Oh, that's
this
nice.
still feels like a little stiff, but I think it's because it's still
damp.
Oh,
yeah. It will soften up.
So I'm going back to Chicago. I went to Chicago at the end of July to visit Anna, my sister, and I'm going back in September, early September, with John, my husband. So I'm going to give this to Anna then. So it has time to dry.
Yes, it has time to dry.
And I will do a little pleat in the armholes if necessary, because it's annoying. You don't want it to be low and like show your bra, Yeah. So I think I will figure that out. I'm just going to plop this over.
That's very nice, making these gorgeous linen tank tops. And we've been having hot summer, so you can really wear these linen tank tops a lot, right?
Yeah, they're comfy. So I have another FO. It's not knitting, but I succumbed to an Instagram ad around my birthday and decided to order this punched needle kit.
Oh, gosh.
So they call it, it's paint with yarn is the Instagram. And so a punched needle, if you haven't done it before, use this contraption and you thread yarn through it. It has this like long, I'll take it out. It has this long thing. I think you can kind of see it. It's like a thin wire that you thread. So you thread this through here. Ooh. Then you put your yarn through and pull it down, and it threads it through it. So your yarn is coming out of here.
I see.
And then it's kind of got this like sharpish tip. And when your yarn is on there, oops, here it is, you punch through.
Okay.
So
That sounds like fun.
It just looked fun, and I liked this design, and I hadn't done it before. Our friend Ellen has done it before, I remember. And I just felt like ordering a kit. Sometimes it's nice to just order something and it's like has everything you need.
It is.
So this was and it came with the canvas already like stretched on this.
Oh, okay.
And it was outlined with these colors.
Okay.
But when the yarn came, and it's not something you would really want to knit with, I did not like the orange and the red. You can see, like, look at...
Do you want me to hold them?
Sure. You can see in this picture, it's kind of like more of a delicate orange and like a darker red. And these were just really bright.
Yes.
And I feel like compared to these...
Oh, yeah.
They just didn't go.
You're right. They're not...
So...
They definitely don't go, yes.
The orange especially. So I did different colors then, which is totally fine.
And you had enough of the colors?
Yeah, there was plenty. Okay. I mean, this is what I have left over.
I see.
There's, depending on which way you're punching through, it can either be flat, I'm holding like this, or you can add some texture. The raised is technically the wrong side. I mean, here's my wrong side with my ends. And like I could have done some areas neater, like you can kind of like do them in rows and stuff. There was a lot of learning for this, but it was fun and it was relatively quick. And I also got a frame for it to go in. I'm a little confused on the frame because it has these holes. But I think you put this in like this.
Oh, I see.
But I'm not exactly sure how to fasten it. And then I thought, you can see here there's a mat around it. But I wouldn't be able to put a mat around the edge here because I don't want to have the canvas showing. But if I do it this way, then you see the holes.
That is really strange. Yeah.
So I'm not sure what to do about the framing part of it yet.
If any of you have had one of these kits or have some tips or ideas, we'd love to hear from you. So it's called Bloomscape, and this is an actual photograph.
Yeah, Bloomscape is
this design, not the company.
Yeah.
What's the name of the company?
It was called Paint with Yarn.
Oh, Paint with Yarn. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, it was fun.
And I can see, looking at this photograph, that the colors are not the same as the yarn that they sent you.
Yeah, I think it came. I don't think it came from the U.S.
Okay, well, it looks like a fun project. And you said you're going to put it up in your kitchen.
Yeah, so I have all this yarn left over. Matteo was having fun playing with
I saw him.
these. So I don't know what to do with the leftovers. I feel like they could be. Like there could be something Christmassy with these. I feel like this is a good Christmas red. It's not something I wouldn't knit a garment with it.
No. Do you know what the is it cotton? Or acrylic?
I have no idea. It feels like it feels acrylic-y to me.
But not a harsh acrylic. I'm
no, it's pretty soft.
It might be. If it was cotton, we could make dishcloths out of them.
Oh.
But I don't think it is 100% cotton. Interesting. Or another needle punch.
Yeah, it could be another needle punch project.
They definitely sent you a lot of yarn for this kit.
Yeah, and I have this white left over.
Oh, also, okay. A beginner's guide. And you got the thing that you needed as well with it, huh?
The needle?
Yeah, the needle.
Yeah, the needle came with it, and then this instruction booklet. And you can see, it in kind of action in here. Yeah.
Very nice. Well, that was fun.
That was fun.
Maybe
I'll
talk about
whips.
I do have a hoe.
Oh, okay. There
actually,
you
go. Half finished object. One sock. I'm back to knitting socks. So I got an amazing care package from one of our lovely viewers, Angie. Thank you so very much.
You're so touched. I have to throw in a picture of Mateo because we opened it with him and we just put all the yarn on top of him, and it was pretty cute. He's very fascinated by it. I keep being like, Mama's knitting, Mama's knitting.
So Angie sent us just a beautiful assortment of yarn and some other goodies, and this is one yarn. This is a skein of yarn that was in that care package. Our doggy got the label, so I don't know what this actually is, but it was sock yarn, and it's beautiful seaside colors. It actually goes with the house that we're living in, and I decided to make socks for my physical therapist. That's really helping me get my shoulder back. I think I'm at 80% now mobility.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'm just knitting toe up with gusset and heel flap, and this is a pattern that I mean there's lots of toe up, there's lots of patterns like this out there, but I did put one together for a few years ago. I taught a class of how to knit toe up socks 2 at a time, but since then I prefer to knit 1 at a time. I might give this pattern away when we reach our 7,000 subscribers.
Oh, okay.
It's just it's more like a recipe. So anyway, so I finished one sock and I'm on the second sock, and the yarn is pooling more on the second sock than the first sock. I'm just on the gusset. You can see here.
Oh yeah.
How it's pooling. But as I said before, I love how yarn pools.
Yeah.
It didn't pool on this first sock though, really. So and this basket also came from Angie. So this is
the cutest little basket for a sock project.
So I just love carrying this around. So now this is my...
We went and had a drink. There's a restaurant like a 2-minute walk from here that has a nice dock. You can view the harbor, and that was kind of like your purse that you brought. I'll put in a photo.
Yeah. So I'm really enjoying these socks, and these are going to be as a thank you to my PT guy when I can transition. But I think it's going to be a couple more months still. I go to physical therapy twice a week, and then I have exercises to do, but I haven't been doing them. I need to get back to doing them. So this is my current easy knitting.
Nice.
Do you want to talk about what you're
knitting? So I guess I have 2 whips. One is a baby hat that I'm still working on. That's that 2x2 hat, but it's not that exciting, and I haven't done a ton on it, so I'll talk about that when it's finished. Around the Chicago trip, leading up to it or just before, I had watched Jonathan Day's last 2 episodes. If you haven't watched him, he's a great great YouTube channel. So lovely. An Irish man living in London, and I like a lot of his design choices and aesthetics. And anyway, he had knit a tank top called Camisole number 9, and it's one that I had saved in my queue when I was looking up patterns that for summer tank tops when I ended up doing the Schorl. This is done with fingering, I believe. So, and I had DK/sport, so it didn't work for this yarn, but it's a pattern that I really liked. So I was excited to learn from his process by watching his channel, which I'll share his learnings and my learnings as well. But Anna and I went to Nina Chicago, which is a yarn shop in Chicago. It's a lot of Chicago. And I had actually gone to this shop in July 2019, which is when they had opened. John and I did an anniversary trip there. This was before Anna lived there. And they had just opened, so it was fun to go back almost exactly 5 years later.
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years later. They have this wall that has pegs, and they strung yarn, and it spells out make. I'll put a picture of 2019 me and 2024 me.
That's cute.
So it was fun. Yeah, I joined their
Instagram?
No. customer
newsletter, mailing list.
Yeah, and like, you know, if you spend $200, you get $10 off.
Frequent shopper program.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
what, 5 years ago you joined the
no,
program?
I joined it this time.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, probably then I was like, I don't know when I'll be back, but now Anna lives there, blah blah blah.
And now you're going in
and
September.
I'm going back in September. Anyway, so we went there, I think on Saturday, and I hadn't completely landed on a project yet, but I was really inspired by their summer yarn selection. They had a lot of linen, a lot of linen blends, in DK, fingering, sport. It was inspiring to go and check it out. So we went and checked it out, and then I was like, okay, I just want to make sure I do want to do this camisole number 9. So like as my next project, and like specifically get yarn for it. So I decided it, and then the next day we went back. The first day I just bought this, which is their Movers and Makers, is a Chicago-based dyer, and this is called Wicker Park, which I think is, I know Oak Park is
well, it must be a park.
This is Wicker Park fingering, and then the colorway is Midnight in the Park. But this is a Chicago-based yarn, and I got this for you. This is like a little...
Oh, this is my gift.
I
was wondering if you girls had bought me anything.
Anna got you something too, but she's saving it for Christmas.
Oh. This is really
so this
nice.
is for you for now. So
and I know what I'll talk about what it's going to go into.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You've kept this all this time, and I saw it on the table, and I thought, what's that for? Very nice.
So when I had gone in 2019, I had gotten this a larger skein, like a larger size skein, not a mini skein, and I made Anna some fingerless mitts from this yarn. But I just wanted to get something from there. So that I got the first day. The second day, I got this yarn called, it's Concept, and it's a cotton cashmere. Gosh,
that looks wonderful.
And it is a fingering weight, I believe. And this is not Chicago based, but says it's made in Spain. And it's really soft. So this was good yarn to use for my camisole number 9. So I got 3 skeins of this. And so the camisole number 9 calls for the yarn we've used before, Knitting for Olive.
Oh, Knitting for Olive, yeah.
So this is very similar.
It looks similar.
Yeah. So it is let me just pull it up.
Is 150 grams or whatever the yardage is going to be enough?
It should be. So it is I'm just looking up the pattern. Okay, so camisole number 9 is by My Favorite Things. And here you can see it's a negative ease tank top. And it's one that I'm committed to doing as a negative ease because that's kind of the style of it. So a couple things that I have learned on my way and what Jonathan shared. So it's a Scandinavian designer. So the pattern is pretty minimal. And this was something that Jonathan had mentioned. It's not like it's a bad pattern, but there aren't a lot of measurement check-ins. So he recommended being, a solid intermediate knitter for this pattern versus this is definitely beginner. And I agree. I think I'm only on the front, but you have to, have had knit some things before you get into it because it's just minimal. I don't know how else to say, kind of describe it, but it's not the same amount of detail you could get in some other patterns.
So you have to have some confidence in what you're doing and have knitted a garment before.
Even how to pick up stitches and all of that. So, and I haven't even gotten to any of the complicated parts yet, but I think it will come into play more with this, there's this sewn detail. Let me get a zoomed in photo. Around the armholes. So it's a very store-bought look. It's knit on a small gauge. I'm currently using 2.5 US needles. So you can see here it's very it's black, so it's a little tough, but that's the main part. And then you come back and do a ribbing with I think size US 0. and
it's very fine.
Yeah, so my gauge is slightly off. So the pattern also recommends that if you're between sizes, go down a size. And I was at the max for size 2 for the range. So I am doing size 2. I almost cast on for size 3, but I figured it is knit top down, so I figured I can at least like adjust as I go. So it looks really funny right now. It looks really thin, but that's because I haven't done the
Gosh, it looks
edges.
tiny.
But I brought this over to my friend's house yesterday, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "It's a tank top. I know this looks very strange." So I've only done I'm still working on the increases for the armholes.
Oh yeah.
So it's knitting up really nicely, and I looked at a bunch before I decided to do the second size. I did look at a lot of projects to kind of see what sizes people had done. I'd say size 2 is one of the most common sizes on there. Let me see how many projects are. I think it's a new pattern. Let's see. Oh no, July 2023. There's over just about 1,200 projects.
Oh, okay.
So it's definitely a popular pattern.
Yeah, more than the one that I'm wearing.
Yeah. So it was definitely, I think it was on the hot right now, like this summer.
Okay.
So anyway, I think I will probably bring this.
Interesting.
I will bring this back to Chicago for travel knitting.
Yeah.
So I only started a few days ago.
Is this your main focused knitting project?
Yeah, and then the other I'll just flash it is the hat that I'm doing.
Oh yeah, you talked about that. Okay.
Which I'm almost ready for the decreases on that bad boy.
Do you have any other actual knitting that you're working on?
No.
So the tank top and the hat. Okay.
Yeah.
So my knitting, let's see. So I'm working on the socks, and I just want to show you my update on the agave, which is in the linen. It's sort of been on pause this week. The last couple of weeks, there's been a lot going on with the house, and I just needed something very easy to knit on. So this is the agave, and there's a few of you that are knitting agaves too. I'd like to see your projects as well. So I have made some progress. One of the reasons that it's paused is because I'm worried that I got the size wrong. So I'm holding 2 strands of lace weight linen together, and I think last time I had just made the front and the back, but since then I've joined. You join at the neck, you join at the shoulder seams, and then you pick up for the sleeve. So I'm working on one sleeve here, and I am going to make them about this length, just above the elbow is the sleeves that I like. So in one of the probably in the previous episode, I mentioned that I made the front and I thought it was too small, so I made the back a little bit bigger, which is slightly problematic when you join the sleeves, because now I've got this extra. But what I'm going to do, I've just got it tacked, is I'm going to make a pleat here in the back.
So this is the front,
This is yeah, that's the front, yeah. So I'm going to make
it. Oh yeah, you're at the back. Yeah.
So the back, the lace pattern is done at the back too, but it starts higher up.
And ends.
Yeah. You knit this bottom up.
Oh,
so
but it's confusing when you say starts higher up, because...
Starts higher up, starts here.
I see, yeah.
Whereas in the front, it starts at the bottom.
Right.
My gauge is completely off here, so I'm just making things a little bit more difficult for myself than need be. I'm making almost the largest size, and it's supposed to be a lot of positive ease. Well, this is not going to be a lot of positive ease for me. I'm actually worried that it's going to be too small for me, so I'm thinking that I might do a panel on the side when I join it. So all of a sudden this got a little bit more complicated than I wanted it to be, but I did block the front and the back, and I really love how this lace pattern blocked. So really I could finish the sleeve in one evening's knitting, and now that I'm showing you, so the lace is knit on the sleeve, and there's 2 different sleeve options. I'm just doing the more straightforward sleeve, and there's 3 different sizes of this lace motif, depending on what kind of sleeve you want to do. So yeah, I am, hopefully it would be nice for me to finish it so I can still wear it this year in September. Now that I'm talking about it, I'm more ready to pick it up again, I think.
You're a bit tangled.
Yeah, I'm a bit tangled because I'm using 2 skeins at a time. Oh, and one of you viewers, sorry, you had asked me where this came from, and I was remiss in replying, partly because Cindy, who owns my local yarn store, Driftwood Yarns, she caked this up for me and she put it in these, so I don't know where she got them from. And I did go to the yarn store last Tuesday for their Tuesday afternoon knit along, and I completely forgot to ask her. But if you want to contact Driftwood Yarns have an Instagram account, and Cindy's pretty active. She would reply and let you know where she got this. But I'm hoping to go back, and I'll try to remember and reply. But sometimes things like that slip my mind. So this is still an ongoing project, but it's just been sitting for a couple of weeks.
Hold on, there's still a ball here.
Oh yeah. Excuse me. One of the issues is that one of the balls is coming apart from the center, and I've been knitting from the outside, so this is what this is. So I think I just need to, wind it up.
Yeah.
All right.
Once you use it, it starts to get loose.
And I keep getting flush with my nose for some reason. So the only other thing I have to talk about is my Ariana crocheted cardigan. And then I have another surprise yarny gift from my niece's husband's mother-in-law. No, my niece's mother-in-law. Yeah, my niece's mother-in-law.
Yes.
Who's also a knitter. Hi, Beverly. She lives in the UK. Okay, so should I talk about my Ariana cardigan? Or
yeah, I only have one other thing to briefly talk about.
Okay, so not in the last episode, but in the previous episode, which would have been episode 44, I think, and then maybe some earlier ones, I talked about that I am making the Ariana crocheted cardigan. But again, I'm making life more difficult for myself because the design is made from big granny squares, but I made mine out of small granny squares, and I started this a week after I broke my shoulder. I started this in February, and I was using a lot of my scrap fingering weight yarn that Natasha helped curate for me, and then of course I ended up buying a few mini skeins because I was running out of yarn, and I wanted to sort of keep it in this blue purple color palette with some pops of pink and red and this aqua in it. And so I think that this is
that'll go well.
This is going to go into these. And so I went to my local yarn store on Tuesday afternoon, and I hadn't been for a long time. Cindy had made one of these cardigans, and I really needed some help on how to construct the sleeve. I don't want to do the bat wing, and luckily she has her version of the cardigan on display at the store, and she also used these small squares, but she joined hers differently. I joined mine, how the pattern says, it's a free pattern where you excuse me, let me get my little squares. You just make the small granny squares like this, and you do the last perimeter in this color as you go along and join at the same time. It's actually very clever. But if you wouldn't mind holding this up for me for a second, Natasha.
Sure.
So what you do is you start joining, but you zigzag. You go back and forth in joining. There's 2 rows for each joining because you're doing the 2 rows on the outside of each granny square triangle, and you just kind of tack them as you join. It's very, very clever. One of the things I had discovered when I went to Cindy is that I have too much of a wide gap in the middle here, and I thought I might be able to fill it in, but it was too much of a filling in, and the mistake I made is that it should be an even number of squares. and mine's an odd number of squares. So I either need to add a row or subtract a row, but I think I will add a row because I want it to be loose fitting. I don't want this to be snug. I want to wear it, in the autumn and the spring. So I already started some unpicking, but because of and then I thought, well, maybe I'll just join another row on the edge here, but you can't because these granny squares are set on the diagonal, and then to make the edge, you add these half squares. So I'm just going to unravel the whole thing.
Well, you don't have to unravel
just the joining.
The color. You have to unravel all the gray.
Yeah, so
which is a lot.
I already started. So then I've got all these little squares.
Oh, so I think these squares are just so cute.
I think I'm going to need more squares, so that's where this will come in. And actually, I think I'm going to really enjoy redoing it because I'll just put all of these squares into a big basket and pull them out randomly. And because I'll have all the squares made, the colors are going to get distributed more evenly. Because the first time around, I started to add colors later on, so there's some clustering of colors.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that you agonize over when you're making something, but then when it's actually finished, nobody else notices.
Yeah.
We all do that. So I'm sure you will find it when you have to redo something. If it sits for a while and you come back to it, it's less painful to unpick and start over. And it is worth starting over and just using your learnings to make that beautiful garment instead of finishing it and not being happy with it and then it sits in the back of the closet.
Yeah.
So I am now at the space where I'm actually excited to start working on it, and I committed to going back to the knit group next Tuesday to show them that I am unpicking. There's another lady there that had made one of these too, and she said when she finished hers it was just too big. And I hadn't been for a long time, and it's just a really great big local knitting group. I mean, there were probably 15 or more people there. I only knew 2 or 3.
Oh, I should plan on
so
Tuesday.
It's really, and they have a Thursday evening one too.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's just wonderful to be in a group of like-minded supportive people. So I'm excited about going this Tuesday afternoon this week and have restarted. But I do have a new worry, and that worry is that I'm gonna not have enough of this yarn.
Oh no.
So I think and I did look. It's a Madeline Tosh, and the colorway is called Greige. So I think I might just go on Ravelry D-Stash and see if I can get another skein. Just because of the way I was working on the sleeves, I have a lot of smaller balls of yarn, and that's going to be kind of a pain.
Yeah.
If I have joins when I'm going back and forth.
Yeah.
So.
And I think you were already right at the borderline.
I thought I was going to make it, but now I'm going to end up making it bigger, and then I'm going to need yarn.
I have fluff on my nose too. I don't know.
Something's flying around. Then I'm going to have Then afterwards you do what do you call this here? A button band, and a neck band and cuffs.
Right.
So.
You do need.
It would be nice if I had one color to do it all versus color blocking, like Natasha's an expert at doing that.
Well, I just force myself to end up doing it all the time.
So I'm excited now, and I think I am also going to do a couple of squares of this yarn to go in, because that'll go in really nicely. I have a few. What do you call this? It's not self-striping. Speckled. I have a few speckled yarns in here. Maybe you can see that one. But not many. I try to keep tonal, but I think, a little pop of some speckliness in here might be kind of fun, and this will be a nice memory for me. Here's another one if it's showing up. So yeah. Oh, and I don't have any, my little balls that I was working with disappeared somehow, and I just have these left from my original basket of yarns that I showed, which I feel like I must have talked about it at some point
Yeah.
on one of our earlier podcasts. So I think that's it for, I do have some other dream knitting. I haven't started the emotional chicken yet, but that's still, I still want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it actually for my knitting, and I'm not imminently going to start anything new because I like to finish these socks. I want to finish that red linen and really get going on the cardigan before I think about anything new. That's it from me.
So for me, I'm thinking about something new already.
Okay.
When I'm done with my camisole number 9 tank top camisole, I'm gonna cast on something with some yarn from Angie, which is just this beautiful neighborhood fiber company. So there were 3 skeins of this color and 1 skein of this color, and I think Angie had it in mind for a zweig.
I think so. So Angie sent us some patterns too.
Yeah.
Look at that.
But I'm just not feeling the color work. I'm not feeling color work. But I have looked up a pattern that I think I'm gonna do, and I can't decide if I'll just stick to this and maybe do some striping of this in it. So this is also speckled, and there's some orangey copper bits in the turquoise.
They really go beautifully
They would
together.
go nicely together. This is more solid.
It's slightly tonal, I would say.
Tonal, but solid compared to these.
Yes.
So anyway, I have a pattern I think I'm gonna do, but I'll share when I get there. I love I think she needs these colors, that I would like these colors. I love this teal color, and I think it's fun how there's the purple, pops of purple in there too. So
yes, Angie, Natasha snatched these
right away.
But I do want a little bit for squares in my cardigan, because this will go in my cardigan really beautifully too.
I can commit to that.
So I'm going to wind off some for myself.
Okay.
Today. Yeah, this has really excited me about the cardigan. I just hope I have the right size crochet hook, but that can be remedied easily.
Yeah.
Okay. So a couple more things. This is a package that came from England. Really gorgeous yarn. Beautifully packaged.
So this is from Amelie. It's Ilmani yarn, which I can't tell where it's from.
I think it's made in Peru. I think I remember reading that.
Okay.
Is it?
Oh yes, you're right. Made in Peru. So it is a mix of silk and baby alpaca and just a little bit of more merino, but it's really cozy. It's got maybe this is the fluff. This has a little bit of fluff to it, and it's kind of got this like core, like this chain core to it, which I think you can see, and the purple around it.
Thank you. This came from Beverly, and then in this beautiful package, handmade, were these gorgeous stitch markers, and this is all my
Funny,
favorite.
we both got purple stitch markers.
Oh yeah, my favorite color, purple. So yeah, this might be a cow. This might actually be a nice cow.
Oh, it'd be nice and cozy. That's a good idea
for the winter. Yeah, I'll have to look up some nice patterns and cute buttons. So thank you very much.
Yeah, because you could do the cowl with like a little button, either closure or
just decorative.
Yeah, that would be cute.
This might be a soon upcoming project. So thank you very much.
That was really thoughtful.
I especially needed these care packages because I finally went to the dry cleaners that rescued a lot of our clothing and my yarn, and they were aware that I was a hand knitter, and they had picked up some of my summer knitted items, my summer tops like this one, and brought them back, but in amongst them there were 2 knitted things that had been completely felted. On the day that I discovered that, earlier on in that same day, they had picked up all my hand knitted sweaters, which had been in a dresser. Even though the dresser was ruined, the sweaters were mostly okay, just slightly damp and smoke. They smelled of smoke. And I asked them to just put the sweaters into their ozone room and not wash them, not do anything with them. I had visited the warehouse sometime in May. I never actually saw the sweaters. And then I went 2 weeks ago, or I can't remember exactly. And I was asking where my sweaters were. And they said, oh, they're probably packaged separately because they were treated separately. And I was looking through rungs of clothes because I wanted some hiking things. I'm going on a hiking trip. And I came across some of my sweaters hanging, and they had all been felted. All of the sweaters had been put in a washing machine and a dryer.
And these are supposed to be professional dry cleaners.
I'm not going to name the dry cleaners. I'm waiting for this all to be over. But at that point, I just had a breakdown. I just got in my car and I just cried. You know, almost 2 weeks have gone by now. Natasha and I are going up there next week, and we're going to document all of them. Not every single thing is ruined. Like my Mild Mania leggings actually are fine, because they're made of sock yarn mostly, and sock yarn can survive washing machine and dryer. It's just, it was a gut punch because it was completely avoidable.
Yeah.
And the woman that has been running the show has been a communication nightmare. So I especially appreciate these care packages, which have really lifted me up. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Don't
feel like you have to. We appreciate it so much, but don't feel like we're okay.
We're okay.
Don't feel like I don't want. This is no pressure or call for
sending anything.
If you would like to, we will happily accept. And sorry, notification came up on my phone. If you would like to, we are very grateful and appreciate it so much. But please, no pressure. We're not sharing this for you to
feel sad for us. Yeah, it's just something to share with the community.
Because you guys will understand
what it feels like.
Yeah.
Or what it might feel like. So hopefully none of you have to experience it.
Yeah, but you can understand what it's like if 20 plus of your hand knit sweaters get ruined. So we are hopeful that the insurance company is going to reimburse financially for this. We have to figure out what the cost of them would be.
But most of my projects and yarn are documented on Ravelry, which actually is going to come in extremely handy. As
a guide.
It's just something else to go through. And I am in a much better place now. Yeah. I'm just focusing on the things that I can make, and I'm trying to decide if I want to make a rug out of all those felted sweaters or not. I'm just not sure if.
Yeah, you don't need to decide right now.
Time is amazing.
Time heals all wounds.
It really, even 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I just want to go over there and get the documentation over with. I've communicated with my insurance company. It's all going to take a while, but you know what? I'll just be making new things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
so I think that's it, right?
Is it? I think so. I feel like we covered a lot.
Yeah, we did. Hope you are all doing well. Thank you again for your comments, watching us, your support, and I hope that you do find time every day to do a little of something that brings you joy. And once again, use and wear all your beautiful things. Yeah. Just enjoy them. Yeah. Just enjoy them. Okay. Take care until next time. Bye.